Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Prison Architect. In the previous episode, we did a couple of odd jobs, mainly putting things like the weights benches back in and a bit of flooring here and there, and obviously dealing with riots and violence and all of the typical running of the prison, which is mainly the lot in our life, I guess, now, because all of the bulk building is pretty much done. There's still going to be some done throughout this episode, but not a great deal. It's mainly just flooring and a bit of fencing and such, and we might get around to doing, I guess, some of the perimeter wall, but even then I don't know if we'd have anywhere near the amount of money that we would need for that. We could, if we wanted to, sell some shares, which would give us about 100,000, but that wouldn't be enough for the entire prison. It certainly wouldn't be for a double thick wall, but anyway, we'll see how we get on. We did have a move over here. You can see we've got Paul Ashby, our gang leader now. They were originally they were around here. Then we moved them over to, I believe, high risk, and now we've moved them over to Supermax. And that it's got the added advantage of that you can't recruit anyone, and also it means that they can't issue orders to their gang members down here. Now they've just kicked off because, well, they like to do that, and now they're going to be moved, and punishment is going to go up. I'm going to simply wait for this to start, and then I'm just going to end the punishment, because this is punishment enough, them being in and around here. We don't need to have them locked up or anything like that. There's no real big cause, need, or whatever for it. And are they going to get moved to a different cell? I've cancelled the punishment, so they shouldn't be. They might be taken there and then taken straight back out again. And that's exactly what happens. In fact, they haven't even been taken out, they've just wandered out. There you go. And they're now going to the infirmary, which nobody's currently in, but someone should be rushing over shortly. No, probably not. Okay, I'll... oh no, someone is there. There is a doctor there. I might hire some more, though. How many doctors do we have? 9. Let's make it 10. There we are. So, I guess we'll crack on with a bit of flooring. So we're going to go to tiling, and we're going to place some tiling all the way around here. Now, a lot of this is going to go over areas that really don't require it. So, I mean, this around here does need to be placed, I guess. But, I mean, let's put that in there. A lot of this is just really cosmetic now, quite frankly. A lot of it, we don't even have patrols in and around here, which is something we do have to sort. We have to have some dog patrols. The plan originally was to have a set of sniper towers, but how are we going to do it? I don't know. Doesn't seem to be really any big call for it at the moment. Nor has there ever been. There was only one, admittedly fairly large escape that was successful, and that was in and around. Oh, got a bit more violence there. I'll sort that out in a second. I reckon we're running out of cash soon for all of this. Yeah, in fact, we've run out of cash for building this. Yeah, we've only had one successful escape, and it was because of the dormitories, and I believe it was 31 prisoners managed to get away. But even then, the sniper tower wouldn't have prevented that. Let's just go over to deployment and to dog patrols. You can see we have got a dog patrol around here, but we don't have one around the rest of it. Now, there's a couple of things we could do. We could just have a double walkway up and around like this. And just assign loads of people to it. But I think instead, I'm going to do that, and then we're going to section it off. So we'll section it off there, section it off there, we'll section it off there, and that should be okay. Although, maybe having them walk up and down here is fine. We'll get rid of that corner, and that corner. And it means that the patrols will be, I guess we could have 2 patrols there, 2 patrols there, and 2 there. And that should hopefully be okay. We won't have enough dog units because, well, quite frankly, it doesn't matter how many dog units you have, you just don't ever have enough. So I'm going to hire another, I was going to hire another 4, but I could only afford the 3. We're going to go up to 40 dog handlers in total. This is easily one of the most staff prisons we've made. It's actually one of the biggest ones anyway. I think the only one that was probably not bigger, but rather come close. It was the sort of city one, and that was several of 2 or 3 years ago now, I would imagine. We would have to make some changes, really, if we wanted to expand this any further, which I don't currently have any plans on doing. If we wanted to expand it, we couldn't really... Well, we could expand whichever way we want. Realistically, we'd probably expand to the side, and we'd probably expand twice and just make clones of these, so we'll copy that over to there. Actually, we'll probably copy it over to there, because then it just means the entrances are about right. Actually, no, maybe around here. I don't know. I don't really know, to be honest with you. It depends on the sizing of the land we buy. If we're looking at that, the red section there, it's not enough to buy this. So, you know, we'd have to see. Not enough money yet to get another dog handler, sadly. Let's look at needs. You can see needs are creeping up there, which is becoming a little bit of a problem. But the hygiene and food needs will be resolved shortly. In fact, I'm going to go over to policy, and I'm going to reduce that meal quantity down to low again, because I think it was sufficient. It was working perfectly fine before, so we'll see what we get this one. Right, so there is a bit of fighting there. I had to kick off. Strangely in and around here. And there. Billy Badass murdered by prisoner. Huh. For no reason by the look of it either. They don't have any traits. And why is it... I don't know why it's kicking off so much. Danger level is flying up. It's not the needs of hygiene. And it's not because these are kicking off either. So I don't know why them were going up and why it still keeps going up. I'm guessing we do have this need for literature, but that wouldn't cause them to boot off this much. They're shouting about food again, even though... Yeah, they should be able to eat it now. It should fly down now. I think we're just going to have to keep the quantity onto medium, although even then, would it matter much? Are they just not getting enough food? Yeah, look at that. I think it's a staff problem. Are there not enough chefs? Well, see, there's food around there. And now it's going down. It might just be a chef problem. We don't have enough chefs. There's food on the table there. There's food over there. Even though there's only a couple of chefs. We only need... I mean, one chef, I'm fairly certain can look after 2 prisoners. I don't know how many were around here. I really don't. They're already laying out loads of trays of emergency bacon because we did, at the last minute, increase the amount of food that prisoners get. So we do have some prisoners, say, starving there. So there is some critical needs. And I'm not entirely sure why we have all that. There's a big minus, and that's for reform sessions and such. If we go over to our programs, we can see that we have general education on the go, pharmacological treatment, all of this sort of stuff. I'm going to turn off guard taser. I don't think we need that anymore. We haven't got carpentry or anything like that because we're not going to have it. We don't have death row appeal because we don't have any death row prisoners, although we do now have one. You can see that there, 1 death row inmate. Workshop safety, you can see there's 64 interested, but that doesn't necessarily mean... There's a tunnel. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's anyone that can use it. In fact, I'd be very surprised if there was any prisoners here that aren't already trained up to get trained on this. It's why we haven't bothered with the extra saws and the extra presses. There's just no real point in it. There doesn't seem to be any real point in it at all. Anyway, so I've ordered the removal of this tunnel. Looks like they're going to fix the bed first and then walk off, because of course they are. We'll prioritise that. Looks like they're coming along now. That's fine anyway. Place a concrete floor. Looks like we don't need to because we found it on the toilet. If you find that from the toilet, then it doesn't much matter. We need a little bit of flooring in here. I don't know why the money's going down so much. Is it reform programs and such? It is. It is reform programs. So we can receive some more prisoners, although by the look of it, we can only receive another 11 maximum security. So what we'll probably do is... See, the problem is if we open up that, it's not going to work out. If we go to intake, we're going to receive 2 minimum, 2 normal, and 1 death row. That's what we want. So let's go for total prisoners of, say, no, number per day, 15. And we'll pull this to a better ratio. So we want 2, it was 2, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. Well, not perfect, but close enough to it. So we've got 2 medium, 2 low, 2 medium, 1 death row, and then 10 out of the total 11 maximum security. So that's exactly what we're looking for, pretty much. So that's perfect. That's good. And I'm assuming we're going to get some people paroled today anyway, so we might have to alter that. But we'll see. We'll see if anyone gets paroled. Capacity is, yeah, we can have 2 for minimum, we can have 2 for normal, and we can have 11 for maximum. And obviously we've got supermax as well. But the only people we're putting as supermax are the legendary prisoners and indeed the gang leaders. That person is shouting about luxuries, and the problem is there's no store here. Do I want to add a store? The problem is that I can't really do it because the store needs to have people working there. The store does need people working in it, and gang members don't work, I believe. You can also see that this place is absolutely filthy. Whoa! Looks like we're shouting about luxuries, and yeah, Scott told in no uncertain terms that those were not currently available for purchase. Right, so we need... Oh, danger levels going right up. I'm guessing that's because of him. I will end the punishment straight away and let it crack on. There's no reason to keep the punishment going. All it's going to do is smash the prison up, and the money we might save... Well, we don't save any money by punishing them anyway, so we're just going to lose money from people smashing things up. And it's not like this person is going to get reformed anyway. Like, reform 0. It doesn't care. They just don't care. So, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter for them. It really doesn't. We can receive 2... Yeah, that's fine. Actually, that's all about right. And it looks like a tunnel. Oh, so we got a tunnel coming from the... I was going to do a shakedown night, and I think I still will. But we've got a one coming from the dormitory and then joining up here. So that is... almost out. Look, it's one space about being outside the prison. So if we found that, they would have run along and then, you know, possibly would have got out there. I'm going to max speed it out because obviously they're going to start legging it and such. But there's going to be people stopping them, and basically they're starting to thin out. They're starting to thin out, and then they get to this point, and I thought they would have been stopped. But there's so many dogs here that I don't know where they're going to go. Ah, they're going to the walls. Ah, that's a problem then. We need to get the armed guards. We do have some armed guards. So there's a pissed off armed guard. He's going to be even more annoyed here. There's another one there. We'll bring them outside like that just in case. And it looks like, oh, some are going to escape. Some are climbing over. Let's get all these going. We might have some escapes here. I've underestimated this massively. There we go. They are legging it. I think that person, Ian Ashby, maybe relation of Paul there, is going to get... Well, he's out. We have an escape. The rest of it looks like we've sorted it. Wow. Well, I'll give it to them. Normally they don't get past this one, but also saying that I normally put an armed guard there that time, so... Yeah, maybe it's best we have an armed guard situated around here. But that's a very uncommon occurrence, that thing. Yeah, this is technically the second escape. The second escape of the series. I mean, it's not exactly on the same level as as the previous one. The other one being fairly problematic with, you know, a much higher capacity. 31 versus a 1. Anyway, so I'd like to remove that, but I don't have the money for it, and daily cash flow is terrible in every way. I'm going to... I can't sell any shares because I have had a recent escape. So that's not something we can do, sadly. I can't really get any more prisoners. I technically can get one. I can get another low risk one, but I think I want to remove this tunnel first. And then... oh, there we go. Even less money. Remove this tunnel first, and then we'll see what we have left to finish off with. I need a couple more... well, ideally, I want a couple more chefs. I need a couple more dog patrols and some bit for here. But for now, we'll settle for this. So we're going to get some intake here. I'm going to go over to the intake. I go to filter capacity, close off this, and straight away the chief's calling. That's just what we needed. First death row prisoner has just arrived. We'll need to make sure we have death row appeal program set up at parole room so that they can have their appeal hearings. Okay, let's do just that. So we'll go over to programs, right down to death row appeal. We'll start that. We'll go to edit schedule and we'll check to see if it's placed in the right area. So parole death row, and they've totally messed it up. That is just not correct at all. Parole hearing protective, yes. Parole max, parole mid. And there's death row appeal over there. So it's just not correct at all, in the slightest. Right, okay. So we'll have to move this over. We'll have to put that in there. Parole hearing from... that can go to there. Parole hearing from... that's super max, but do we have parole in it? I think we do. Death row parole. That can get shifted over to there. And put death row appeal into there. We've only got one parole for Supermax, and quite frankly, we don't even require it, so I'm going to shift it. Supermax don't get parole. They're legendary prisoners and such. They're not getting parole. So we've got min, med, max, and protective custody all on the right. That's all set. We will lock that. We'll pin all of those so they don't get changed. Some of them are not pinning properly. There we go. And that should be fine. And then on the left, we should now have death row appeal, and it is in death row. So that's fine. So that is now all set up. We don't need more than the one. Not yet anyway. We can obviously add more if we get more death row prisoners. But for the time being, we don't have it. It would be nice if the death row inmate would arrive in a separate bus. And maybe they do. I mean, where are they? They'll be in here somewhere. So, there we go. Oh, there's someone with a nice shirt on as well. Well, I say nice. Burberry. Burberry top. I look at it. Let's go over to gangs. And we can see we have a red gang member. But it is of already the high rating anyway, so that's fine. And there is our death row mate, Tom Naubati, prison number 176-40060, sentenced to 92 years for multiple crimes including murder, grievous bodily harm, and aggravated assault. We've also got onto that one, well, several units of aggravated assault and grievous bodily harm. We've got a rape in there, we've got torture, bit of murdering, and likelihood of clemency is 39%. So what will happen is when we run the death row, we call it parole, but it's not, it's the death row appeals program, that'll slowly be reduced. If their sentence is reduced, it'll probably put them down to the next highest level, but I believe that would be high risk, and we'll alter that so it'll be super max, so they'll be in and around here. Although, or we might not, because then it means they can be recruited and then they can be issued orders, which is definitely what we don't want. So we'll see about that one. We'll have to play that and see how that one goes. So we've still got a bit on the left hand side which we have no purpose for, really. It just sits there. We might as well just put a little door on it, quite frankly. We'll put a door there. We could have it as a cleaning cupboard, but it'll never be used, so is there really any point in it? We'll put it there like so. So that's all fine. We don't have a road gate, which would be useful. A road gate and another wall all the way around would have been useful quite a while ago. It's normally the first thing you build rather than the last thing you build. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a fence, and I'm going to put a fence all the way around the outside of the road, and we will then obviously connect up things like see how long it takes to actually get up to this point. It's not far away. We'll also put some road gates on as well with some automatic door openers. The problem with that is that the automatic door openers are already a bit overstretched, but I mean, one door isn't going to be a huge problem. That is an issue though. You can see the exports there, it waits, and that was halfway out. That means that when exporting, it will have this door forced open, so I'm going to change that. So we want to change them exports, so we have it not there, we'll have the exports up here, like so. And that should do us quite nicely. So those are back to normal. In terms of prisoners, we've currently got 229 prisoners. And total max capacity, 262. It's because we've got 10 missing from protective custody. We've got 5 missing from death row. We have 2 missing from maximum, and the odd 1 or 2 from minimum. And normal is actually at capacity there. So, yeah, obviously supermax as well is 15, and we've only got the 2. So, although it seems like we're missing out on loads of prisoners, it's not really, because the majority of those that are missing out are from areas where it's very specialised, so protective custody, death row, and supermax. So in terms of needs, there is another critical food need there for some prisoners, but nothing like it was before, which is good. I do want to go ahead and get another cook, and I think we'll put the cook in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are working there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are working there. 1, 2, 3 are working there, or 4, and then a couple up there. So that should be fine. And then 1 more dog handler. Do we need any more doctors? We've got 10. So it'll be 3, 6, 9, 10 ideally, but I know it's not that. I don't think it's that at all. But anyway. This critical food need will probably drop quite a bit now. Yeah, you can see everybody's eating there, and that need is being fulfilled. So in terms of needs that we haven't really touched, luxuries is okay. There's still a high need for that one. But remember, you can only buy luxuries if you have money, and obviously you earn money from working in the prison. So they haven't got a job. I don't know how they can get luxuries. I think luxuries, well, I know luxuries can be smuggled. Are they classed as luxury goods, but are they classed as stuff bought from the shop, which are 2 slightly different things, I believe. But anyway, I think money can be traded over as well. Or you would assume it was traded over in visitation, but I just really don't know. That's all sorted. There's a bit of a clothing need there, but yeah. The only need that we really don't fulfill is the library for literature. We don't have that need. I think literature can still be fulfilled from the shop. They can buy magazines, I think, but the library, no. It's just an oversight on my part when we went to build this thing. If we were to build it again, I don't think I would make any substantial changes. Certainly, this area would be better planned out. We would have a separate area for protective custody, and yeah, probably have that protective custody similar to this. So we'd have 2 of these, but again, this one, actually what we'd probably do is have 2 buildings of sort of this size, that size, and that size. Well, similar size. You get the idea. I think that's a tunnel there. It is. And this would be protective custody, and this would be supermax, or something like that. And they would be probably fed from I wouldn't say a separate kitchen and canteen, but they'd have separate canteens in the same kitchen in the middle or something. They would never interact with each other. The two wouldn't meet. Having supermax prisoners bump into casually in the corridor, some protective custody prisoners would not almost certainly go down too well. For one party. I'd have literature. I'd expand this so I'd have literature. That's still possible. I could always reduce the common room size, but we just never got around to it. I'd probably have these taller. I'd probably go for a taller sized one, actually. But remember, these 3 here were built... Were these built No, those were built prior expansion. This was the original size, I think, and then we expanded and got to this. But I actually can't remember. I mean, this is episode high 30s now, and we're currently on 21 hours, 26 minutes, and 48 seconds play time. So yeah, you tend to forget what's happened in the first couple of episodes and the original planning. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I wouldn't really make many more changes, I don't think. Perhaps slight alterations to things like the shower size in the yard, but again, I don't think there's any critical flaws, considering we've managed to successfully accomplish what we set out to do, which was have every rating of prisoner... Is that a dead prisoner there? Starved to death? What on earth? How? So that has to go there, that has to go there. And that is now fine. Is it just nobody working in there? Not enough chefs again? Put 2 in there. Another one in there. Another one in there. I'll over-chef this. There you go. Anyway, we'll stop that shakedown there. That's an interesting one. I haven't seen that. We got another death row inmate turning up as well. In the next day. So we are starting to get all of our death row inmates, which is good. What I haven't done is put those tiles like so. Not that it matters really at all, but we might as well continue like we should be. That says the death row appeal is there with a success chance of 0, even though it says likelihood of clemency 39%. They are detecting, or there was some detection there of a tunnel, and that could be correct, that one. I'll just search that toilet. That could be correct. It's not likely to be that one, because that would go up and across. Not likely to be that one, that would go straight across. So, probably an erroneous result. And waiting there to get through. What I'd probably do, in terms of big changes, is something to do with the forestry and the workshop. I would have probably a section... Well, probably every prison would have a workshop. That would be the big expansion, really. If I expanded to the... almost certainly the left, I would tack on some more cells, and I would also put a workshop on the far left for each one of these, and that would make a lot more money. But not that we need that. In terms of what we set to do, which was have separate, fully encased, enclosed areas for each type of prisoner, each rating of prisoner, which is all 6 of them actually now. So we've got protective custody, low risk, medium risk, or normal risk is the proper term, high risk, supermax, and death row. I guess death row and supermax are sort of connected here. They're not really in their own area, but I mean, that's sort of splitting hairs. The rest of it is there and seems to function alright, I think. We can get rid of most planning now. I think that's pretty much sorted. I didn't put the sniper towers in, but we're not going to. And yeah, didn't put any extra in the workshop. It's not required. And haven't put a fence around the forestry. Again, not required. There was an idea to put a fence around the forestry and then open this up here so the prisoners here could work, but that would just expose them to more tools, and there was only a couple of them anyway, and they've got enough going on in the workshop, so it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I haven't put CCTV in around here, which I know is a bit of an oversight, but we always have people walking as well, and I just don't want to overdo the CC. Well, I could place some more CCTV monitors, I guess, but it's already a bit cramped as it is. Look at that. In fact, the kennel is actually over capacity now. You can see there's actually a build-up waiting for all of the kennels. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 kennels in total. No, sorry, 15 kennels, because there's a gap here. And even then, it's not big enough. Yeah. Danger level's going up, and again, it's a food need, but that should be fulfilled shortly. I don't know why there's this real critical need for for food, and some people actually were starving to death there. That very strange. I can't see why that would occur, other than we just don't have as many chefs as we need. These are still getting done. We haven't looked at staff need for quite some time. You can see that the bladder and bowel needs, we've got a couple of criticals there, but that'll just be the people just about to come off shift. We've got fairly high food needs, in fact. I'm, again, very surprised about that, but we've got all the sandwiches and snacks here, and all of the chefs coming to sort that out. Is it to do with food trays? Oh, it could be that bug again. No, it looks like that's been fulfilled. You can see there's 7 food trays there. There was a bug for quite a while when it comes to the staff canteen. Yeah. And then the other stuff's fairly okay. And there we go. So, I think we'll do one more shakedown, and we'll probably call it there. The death row inmate has had their death row appeal, and that'll have been filled. We can see that is in, where is it? In here. And it says, oh, they haven't got their reform history is appeal failed. I was going to see if they had another one planned, which looks like they do not. Let's do a shakedown. So their likelihood of clemency is now being reduced to 19%. Sorry, is that correct? Or is that execution liability? Let me check. No, it is clemency. Yeah, so if we are under 10%, we can go ahead and issue the execution. Or at least order that. There's a tunnel. There's a tunnel. Yeah, we could order that. And regardless of what evidence comes out afterwards, we wouldn't be fined. If we did it now and it came out that they were not guilty, we would have a massive fine, and I believe it's a trigger for a failure state. I don't think it's an immediate you've now failed. I think it just says if you do this one more within a certain period, then that's a failure state. So we'll have a look at our prison grading finally here. So our reoffending rate is 19%. It's been hovering around that, which I don't know in reality what that's like. We've released 481 prisoners. The prison value, or we'll check punishment. Punishment is over mid-ground. It's 6, so we are punishing prisoners when things go wrong. Or when they do things that not approved by the board. Reform is on 3, which is fairly poor. A lot of that was to do with as soon as gangs turned up, it went down, but I think that is going up now. Same as security. Health is a little bit low at -2, but we have had some problems with food distribution, so maybe that's why that's down there. We have, that's the wrong one. This place pretty much searched, so I'll turn that off now. We have a prison value of just shy of $1 million, so it's 930,000 generic units of currency. Daily profits is only 3,000 there. It's going to hover around the sort of 2 to 4 area. Staff fatalities is 12. Only 12. I thought it would have been a lot more than that. Capacity is 260. Deaths in custody 88. You notice that's not increased hardly at all since we moved the gang leader and the lieutenant in this, well, second in command. So the soldiers can now no longer be issued orders, and as such they're not fighting all the time. 34 prisoner escapes, so it must have been 33 prisoners on the first attempt, and then 1 when they went over the wall. Paroled early is 237, a lot higher than I thought, with a 2% reoffending rate of those paroled early, and no prisoners executed, and none were paroled early. We now have another person in the prison, though. Let me just go over to intelligence and informants. I just want to double check to see if we have any traits that I should be aware of. I can't see them. Can't see them in terms of gangs. Make sure all gangs are... Oh, that's wrong. Look, see that? We've got a couple of gang members here that shouldn't be here. These should be moved up, so I'm going to do that now. So, Adam Platten, and we'll say you are now maximum security. You'll be escorted there. There's a death in custody. Where's that from? That is... Paul Bird. Oh. So, actually, the red leaders... Sorry, the red second in command has been killed by a shotgun. Killed by armed guard with shotgun. So it looks like Ashby's kicked off and he's joined in, and then that's it. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So the red no longer have a second in command, and they can't be issued one because let me just end the punishment there. They can't be. I say issued one. One can't be recruited rather because there's nobody else here for them to recruit. So putting them in a separate area does work for future reference. Where were we? It was gangs. Maximum. So maximum moved up to there. That's now fine. And we should have another inmate. I'm looking for them and I can't see them. Are they being escorted or they're not here yet? We can easily find out, actually. Prisoners. Scroll at the bottom. Hill. Jesse Legend Hill. Prison number 179-66590. Multiple crimes, a lot of torture, armed robbery, gross bodily harm, attempted murder. Likelihood of clemency is 34%, and in terms of reputation, none. So there you go. And they're going to be escorted over here. So it means we have to activate another death row appeal and stuff. But, yeah. I think, though, we will leave it there for this episode. And indeed, we'll be taking probably a little bit of a break there. I could continue on. We could go down the whole death row execution process and such, but really, I don't think there's any big need to. We've built the prison that we set out to build. It seems to be running fine, and I think it would be a bit watered down if we continued on. I will still be doing some standalone ones. I think we'll probably try. We could try an escape attempt. I don't think it'll be very successful. We could try and see what happens when we do the ultra-violence ones and we just give everybody a shotgun and things like that, which we know what the result of that will be, quite frankly. So if there is a call for either of that, then by all means put it in the comments and we'll see if we get to that one. And we might do a separate episode and go ahead and issue some... we'll go through the whole execution process. But I think for now, we will call it there on this video and indeed the series. I hope I have enjoyed this video and the full series. I've been enjoying building this entire thing. It's been somewhat different. We've not really done something like this before. Would I do it again? Not soon. It starts to creak, and like things like especially when the gang members are getting punished in the whole prison, even if they're not involved with gang stuff, is kicking off. It's a bit iffy, but yeah, there we go. Looking forward to see what happens with some more, hopefully more updates and things like that now that we have a new owner for the game, and yeah, hopefully only good things. As always, hope you've enjoyed everything you've seen. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.